Welcome back, fellow explorers of history, literature, and mystery. If you're passionate about unraveling fascinating stories from the past, diving deep into classic literature, or uncovering the mysteries that leave us questioning the unknown, you've come to the right place. Here on this channel, we journey through time, immerse ourselves in intriguing tales, and explore the legends that continue to captivate the world. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story that could change the way you see history and the world around you. Let's get started. The American bison, commonly referred to as the buffalo, once roamed North America in vast numbers, with a population estimated to be around 30 million. The indigenous peoples of the continent relied heavily on the bison for their survival, using every part of the animal for food, clothing, shelter, and tools. However, the bison's numbers dramatically declined following European colonization, largely due to the actions of settlers and the U.S. government. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, they sought to claim land and resources for themselves, disregarding the indigenous peoples and their way of life. The Plains Indians, who inhabited the central and western regions of the U.S., fiercely resisted the encroachment of settlers. The U.S. government, pursuing a policy of westward expansion, viewed the indigenous peoples as obstacles to be removed. Rather than engage in direct military conflict, U.S. Army General William Sherman devised a plan to weaken the Plains Indians by targeting their primary source of sustenance, the bison. The plan was simple but devastating. By exterminating the bison, the U.S. government believed they could force the Plains Indians into submission. Thousands of European hunters were encouraged to slaughter bison en masse, with little regard for treaties that had been signed between the U.S. government and indigenous tribes. The American military even provided hunters with weapons and ammunition, further accelerating the destruction of the bison population. Despite public outcry and efforts to pass laws banning bison hunting, the U.S. government, under President Ulysses Grant, vetoed these measures, allowing the killing to continue. This led to widespread hunting, often for sport, with European and American hunters killing thousands of bison each day. Hunters would strip the hides from the animals and leave the carcasses to rot. In some cases, they poisoned the meat to prevent anyone, including indigenous people and wildlife, from consuming it. The scale of the slaughter was staggering. By the late 19th century, the bison population had dwindled from tens of millions to just a few hundred individuals. The famous photograph of a towering pyramid of bison skulls from this era stands as a stark reminder of the extent of the destruction. The Plains Indians, who had depended on the bison for their survival, were left starving and destitute. With their primary food source gone, they were forced to surrender to the U.S. government and relocate to reservations, where they were dependent on government-issued rations. The U.S. government's plan had worked. By destroying the bison, they had effectively subjugated the indigenous peoples of the plains. Ironically, after nearly driving the bison to extinction, the U.S. government and American society began to express concern over the animal's near disappearance. Conservation efforts were eventually launched, and a small number of bison, which had been kept on private farms, were placed in reserves. Over time, these efforts led to a slow recovery of the bison population. Today, the bison population stands at around 500,000, a far cry from their original numbers, but a significant improvement from the brink of extinction. Some bison have been reintroduced into the wild, where they once again roam free, although they are a fraction of what they once were. The history of the American bison is a tragic tale of environmental destruction and the devastating impact of colonialism on indigenous peoples. While the bison have made a partial recovery, the same cannot be said for the Plains Indians, who were forced off their lands and subjected to policies that aim to erase their culture and way of life. In conclusion, the story of the bison and the indigenous peoples of the plains is a reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked greed and the lasting effects of colonization. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history, literature, and the mysteries of the past. Leave your suggestions for future episodes in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.